Alright. What's up, guys? As always, a reminder, if you want to get your name on the card of fame at the beginning of this video, I have links down below for my PayPal, Patreon, and Buy Me a Coffee. If you want to help support us here and donate through any of those, I'll send you some things in return. And you'll get your name on that card, just to let you know. So thank you in advance. Well, rainy season is in full effect here. And we got caught in a big one the other day. One thing I never thought about with all this road work and construction and all the buildings being pushed back. Before, usually, the last few years, if you got caught up in a rainstorm, it was okay. You could hang out underneath an awning or an overhang of a building until it subsided a little bit. But then that's when you begin to notice that all the buildings being deconstructed and pushed back doesn't leave any of that. So it was a pretty big storm. Looked like we had just jumped out of or came out of a pool by the time we got to where we were going. No respite. Pretty soaking wet. So yeah, try to go out and do things when you can. Keep an eye on the weather. But things change here quite frequently, sometimes day to day, and so it's hard to keep up sometimes with all the rules, restrictions, regulations, things that are happening. So I'll tell you what I know from the just from the last few days, just to let you know. They did push the curfew back to July 10th. It was supposed to end sooner, but they've extended it already, which is pretty weird. Normally they wait until the day it's supposed to expire before they make an announcement. So everybody's waiting with bated breath. But they announced it this time early. So our 8 p.m. until 4 a.m. curfew will be in effect until at least July 10th. They had a big virus outbreak over at Salu, so they had to close that, and that's very disappointing. That's the biggest local shopping area here. It's the market that's like a city within a city. I've been there many times. You can go back to some of my past videos and look for those. I like it. It's a good market, but they're closing that right now for 2 weeks. Hello. Can't show you him. He's just sitting there taking a whiz in public. But and it all started as usual, as these things do, with one person. But the thing is, this guy probably should have been vaccinated before anybody else, because they reserved vaccinations for people who are going to have a lot of contact in the community. Of course, government leaders, military leaders of industry, that kind of thing. However, he was not, and he had the virus. He was the guy responsible for going and collecting the rent from the vendors at this huge market who tested positive. So of course he had contact with a lot of people. Like everybody there, all the owners, at least once while he had the virus. So when they found that out, they decided to close the market. Then they've done some testing, and so far they've had 128, I believe it is, cases, and that brings Siem Reap up to about 900 cases in total. Matter of fact, one of the local newspapers said, and I don't know if this is true, but we do get new cases all the time. Just a minute. Road work stuff happening. It's looking pretty good though. It's not all potholey like it was last time I was down this way. Making progress. But yeah, one of the local newspapers said that Siem Reap was the new hotbed for the virus in Cambodia. Because we keep getting all these outbreaks in different areas, and they have to red zone some areas, yellow zone some areas, shut down markets. By the time it's detected on the patient 0, whoever that might be, then they have to backtrack, and as they're doing that, they find a whole bunch of new cases. So yeah, Salu is closed, our curfew continues. It wouldn't surprise me if there was another lockdown coming up. It really wouldn't. That seems to be the next, I guess, logical step if they can't curb the amount of outbreaks happening here. Of course, I don't want that to happen, but I'm saying I would not be surprised if it did. And I think if you set your expectations low in that regard, you're not going to be disappointed when it happens because you kind of expect it. And in Phnom Penh, the authorities took a lion from a resident. A lion. I found that absolutely fascinating, living in one of the most crowded, densest, population-packed places in Cambodia. And this guy had imported a lion. He was raising it on in his residence. And they caught him because he was very proud of this lion, and he posted many TikTok videos showing him grooming the lion, watching the lion. Show pictures of the lion sleeping next to a couple of small dogs. And they were onto him. So recently they had to go. They had to get the cage, put the lion in the cage. I don't know what's going to happen to the guy. They took the lion out to one of the wildlife reserves here, let it go, run free. But a lion, of all things. A lot of critters in Cambodia, and I'm sure in some part, I'm sure they're, well, maybe not sure, but I'm pretty sure there's probably lions in like some more jungly areas of the country where there's not a huge swatches of people. But I never heard of that before, so that was pretty weird. So we have curfews, market shut down, and now lions. But all in all, everything is going as well as can be expected under those circumstances. It does get kind of boring having that curfew. You can't stay out late, but even if you did, not a lot of places are open anymore, so what are you gonna do? Boredom seems to be the enemy here more than anything else. I mean, you can't do anything, can't really go anywhere. But if you are in Cambodia and you want to travel to Siem Reap, the normal process takes a long time. You go to all these checkpoints between provinces. Then you have to present your ID card. You have to get quick COVID test, make sure you're not infected. People have to sign the paperwork, and it's a big hassle, causes a lot of delays. But they have a website up now. Or anybody traveling from outside of Siem Reap wants to come to Siem Reap, you can do so. Register yourself in advance on this website, and you're good to go. You put in all the information you would give at a checkpoint, and when you get to the checkpoint, if you're in, supposedly if you signed up for that, telling them type of vehicle you're coming in, your name, your, all your information. I guess it's like a priority line. When you get to the checkpoints, all you got to do is get tested real quick, and then you can go on your way. You don't have to wait in a long line where the people are gathering all the information that you can now put on this website. So that's pretty cool. But yesterday we had a chance to go, first time ever, first time in the 3+ years I've been here, I actually went swimming in a swimming pool. Thanks to my buddy Joe. Went over there to grab my gimbal. As I mentioned in the last video, I had forgotten it over there the last time I was over. I kept putting it off and putting it off because it's hot or it's raining so much that going over there just it's just like one of those, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow. I finally had to do it though. I was like, I haven't made a video in a few days. It's need my gimbal back. So we went over there, but we had a good time. We took Pena with us, and of course Joe has his kids, so they were playing, getting along, and we decided to go down to the pool he has at the apartment he rents. And so that's what we did. It was really nice too. The water was just cool enough, not too cold. Really nice pool. Water was very clean. The time of day it was, the sun wasn't beating right down on it, so it was nice and shady. We were the only ones out there, so kids really liked it. They had a good time. I had a good time. Sangalai doesn't swim, so she just sat there, didn't participate. I wasn't expecting to go in the pool, so I just went in with the shorts I had on and drip dried for a couple hours afterwards. But afterwards he asked if we wanted to go to a Japanese restaurant with him, his treat, and I was like, that sounds good. And that place was really, really great. It's a little place over in the Kendall village, or Kendall shopping area near downtown. And I can't exactly remember the name. It was just getting dark when we got there, so couldn't take any pictures or anything, but it's really good, man. I had a nice pork curry. Oh my god, that was huge portions, huge portions. Curry was fantastic. The pork was cooked just right, and it wasn't like chopped up in little pieces like normally you see here, because of course they try to get as much as they can out of every bite, or out of every section of the pig. But this one had been a whole piece, one big piece of pork. It had been breaded and then fried and then cut into thick, big slices, not little tiny cubes, you know. So every bite you took, you had a little crunch on the outside from the breading and the seasoning, which was really nice. And the pork was cooked perfectly, very nice and tender and juicy. And that curry was out of this world. It went really great with the rice. So that was really nice. Had a good time. But then of course we had to get back before the curfew So no extracurricular activities. Well, that's all right. And in other news, I'm thinking about doing a 20 or 30 minute stand-up comedy special, I guess you could say, kind of a special. Because the bars are all closed and they can't have, you know, people inside mingling as they usually do. They do offer services for takeaway and delivery, but that's about it. But there are several places that have a stage along with a microphone and a working speaker system. And so I'm going to check and see if I can use that. Nobody has to be in there. And I know that sounds weird, if you know what's stand-up comedy without an audience, but here's the thing. I'm going to call it the As Empty as My Soul Tour. Because the venue will be empty, my soul is empty. You get it? There's a connection. Hello.
Hello.
And basically it will just give me a chance to get up on a stage with a real microphone instead of in the mirror with a, you know, using a comb as a microphone. Working on all the material I got, getting together all the bits I want to do. I have a big notebook full of different bits and ideas in various stages of development. So I'll get the ones together I think are ready, or at least almost ready, and practice those, go up on the venue, and then I will be posting it on the YouTubes, of course. Maybe not this channel, I don't think that really flies with this channel, but if you subscribe to my other channel, Laughing on the Inside, that's my comedy podcast, that's probably where it will end up. Although when I do that, I will let everybody here know when it's available. It's going to be a while. I still got to find a venue that will let me do it. Practice on the bits I want till I know it's nice and tight where I want it. Then just go over there and do it. Well, we have a lake. It's funny because it hasn't rained today yet, but you have these certain areas of town where even if it doesn't rain, it's still full of water, like all the time, no matter what time of year. There are just some places in town that are filled with water and dogs, like that one. I don't understand it. They seem to never dry up. All right, I guess that'll do it for this one. Not really much else happening. Nothing much going on. So I just want to say I appreciate all my supporters. You guys mean a lot to me. You always have, you always will. Know that I'm rooting for you too. And if you do want to help support us here and what we do, there are links down below to my PayPal, buymeacoffee.com/DDC, and my Patreon. And if you do any of those things, if you donate through any of those, send you a copy of my book in your email. You receive exclusive videos, first look videos, and more in the future. It's a way of me saying thank you for supporting us here. It's always very much appreciated, and I'll thank you for it. Also down below are links to other channels vlogging in Cambodia. Really good channels that you should definitely check out. You get to see a lot more of the country, get to hear different viewpoints, get to see different things, get some variety. So be sure to check those out. Also, all my social media is down below, and links to my t-shirts if you want to buy those. And you can buy my books individually if you want to go through the website. That all of that's down below in the description. Be sure to check out my other channel, my comedy podcast, Laughing on the Inside. The next one we are going to talk about aliens from outer space. And how that new government report is, didn't do exactly what people thought it was going to do. Alright. Thank you guys for the support. And I will talk to you in the next one.